Hello everyone, welcome to Clarity for Sure. In this session, we will see one of the most important topic of decision making, that is biases. Okay, biases in decision making. Okay, so this is one of the most important topics in decision making. Okay, every year we have seen at least one questions from this topic. Okay, out of 10 marks. Okay, and what is the cutoff of decision making? Okay, what are the cutoff trends? Okay, so last year it was 1.25. Okay, previous year it was just 1 marks. And from where to practice these questions? Okay, so you should go through all the previous year questions. Okay, and you have to solve mocks. Okay, few mocks. So for previous year questions, I will be coming with a video. Okay, in which I will be solving all 3 year previous year questions. Okay, 3 years into 10 questions. Okay, so your 30 questions will be done. And for mock, okay, you should consider this NABARD Grade A Phase 1 Test Series. Okay, in this you will be getting 10 full length test. Okay, 10 full length test. Okay, in that you will be getting 10 practice mocks of decision making. Okay, so that will be enough. That will be 100 questions, and these previous year of 30 questions, and today I will be covering 10 questions of biases. Okay, so that will be enough for your preparation. Okay, and you will be easily covering these cutoff marks. Okay, and for these chapters, okay, these like topic of biases, okay, you should prefer real life examples. Okay, your own real life examples. Okay, you can relate with your own real life experiences. Okay, then you can better understand these topics. Okay, so let's start. So first we have biases. In biases we have two categories. Okay, first one is cognitive biases and emotional biases. Okay, so cognitive biases, in this we have seven. Okay, biases, and in emotional biases we have three biases. So first in cognitive we have confirmation, anchoring, overconfidence bias, hindsight bias, availability bias, status quo bias, and framing bias. In emotional we have loss aversion, groupthink, and sunk cost fallacy. Okay, so first we will be covering what is cognitive bias. Okay, and emotional bias. What is cognitive bias? So cognitive bias is when our thinking patterns, okay, causes us to make errors in the judgment. Okay, so whatever you are thinking, okay, it will you are creating an error by your thinking patterns, okay, or process or decision making. For example, if someone believes that a product is better just because it's more expensive, okay, they are experiencing a cognitive bias. Okay, so you have seen a lot of like your friends and all, okay, or you might be also experiencing with you that if some product is cost rupees 100, okay, and another shop, okay, the same product costs like 250, okay, you will be thinking that this product is better, okay, even though the content of this product is same to this product. Okay, so you are experiencing a cognitive bias. Okay, so it is when our thinking patterns causes us to make errors in judgment. Okay, you are making an error in judgment due to cognitive bias. Then you have emotional bias. Okay, so emotional bias is when our feelings influence our decision, often leading us to away from rational choices. Okay, so you because of your feelings, okay, because of your feelings and emotions, okay, you cannot make rational decisions, okay, rational choices or decisions. Okay, so this is emotional bias. Okay, so this is done. What is cognitive bias? Okay, and what is emotional bias? Okay, cognitive bias happens when there is like problem in your thinking pattern. Okay, thinking pattern. Okay, and emotional bias, okay, is when your feelings influence decisions. Okay, so feelings or emotions influence choices, influence choices. So cognitive bias, thinking pattern, emotional bias, feeling influences choices. Okay, so we have covered broadly that in biases we have cognitive bias and emotional bias. Okay, in this cognitive we have seven biases, and emotional we have three biases. Okay, now we will look each of them in detail. Okay, so in cognitive bias, first one is confirmation bias. Okay, so one thing to note is that I have added a lot of pictures. Okay, in each bias term. Okay, so you should, if you remember only these pictures, okay, and the examples related to it. Okay, like in confirmation bias, okay, I've added the topic of veganism. Okay, in anchoring bias, okay, I've added like shopkeeper bargaining and all. Okay, if you remember these pictures only, okay, for overconfidence bias, it is stock market trading. Okay, and all. Okay, so if you remember these pictures only, okay, then you can solve most of the pictures. Okay, then the concept will be reinforced in your mind. Okay, you can also think about like after the explanation of it, after the explanation of confirmation bias. Okay, this is the definition, this is the implication of the that bias, and this is the example. Okay, after reading this, okay, if you think you have a better example, okay, your real life example, okay, then you can also use that. Okay, it will, so by that you will better understand that topic. Okay, so confirmation bias. Okay, so what is it? So confirmation bias is the tendency to search or interpret and remember information that confirms one preconceptions. Okay, so you are searching, interpreting, and remembering information that only confirms your own perception. Okay, so for example, okay, for example, I've taken is that a person is passionate about veganism. Okay, so this person passionate about veganism. Okay, you can see he is passionate about veganism. He might only follow social media and communicates that promote it. Okay, so he might be following all the PETA websites and all. Okay, PETA world and all. So, and he's ignoring or dismissing information that challenges the diet benefits or presents alternative views. Okay, for instance, they may avoid studies discussing nutritional challenges or environmental impacts, focusing on solely on content that supports the belief of veganism. Okay, so what is confirmation bias? Okay, you have a belief. Okay, belief. Out of this belief, okay, you are only searching that information. You're searching and interpreting related to that belief only. Okay, like for example, you can also see like there's a YouTube channel of Praveen Mohan. Okay, someone might have also seen that. Okay, so what he does is he like analyzes the like Hindu god idols. Okay, the god idols. Okay, and he connects them to like extraterrestrial like things like aliens and all. Okay, how they helped in creating these idols. Okay, so he might be, you might feel that he might be having confirmation bias. Okay, so he is only searching and interpreting his information and belief to that conclusion. Okay, so what are its implications? Okay, so the bias can lead to overconfidence in personal belief. Okay, so you will be overconfident in your personal belief and cause individuals to ignore or dismiss evidence. Okay, so this is important point. Okay, you are ignoring or dismissing evidence that contradicts their views. Okay, that others views. Okay, so this was confirmation bias. Okay, so this is done. You are, what you're doing is you are searching, interpreting your belief and removing the information that confirms your preconceptions. Now we have anchoring bias. Okay, anchoring bias. Okay, so anchoring, we have seen that anchor. Okay, you can take example of this from this. Okay, so what is anchoring bias? So it is a tendency to rely heavily on first piece of information encountered when making decisions. Okay, so what you are doing is you are relying heavily on first piece of information encountered when making decisions. Okay. What are its implications? Okay. You can skew judgments and lead to miscalculation. Okay. As the initial information unduly influences subsequent judgments. What are the examples? Okay. So when bargaining at a local market in India, if a shopkeeper initially quotes a very high price, okay, the customer might even end up agreeing the price higher than they intended, okay, thinking they have negotiated a good deal, even if the final price is still above the fair market value. Okay, suppose you have gone to market, okay, to buy a sari for your mother. Okay, so you have bought it for like 2000, okay, but the shopkeeper quoted as like 4000, okay, and you think that you have won the deal, okay, by like bringing him half the price of the sari, okay, but when you go home, your mother says that like he might have bought it at like 500 rupees, okay, so till now you were happy, like the shopkeeper quoted the price of 4000 and you got it for 2000, okay, so what this does is the shopkeeper anchored the price of 4000, okay, so even if he has done just, even the original price was just 500 rupees, okay, you still paid four times of the money, okay. So this is because of the anchoring bias, okay, so he quoted by price a lot higher than what it actually cost, okay, and that anchored your decision, okay, that you got a very fair deal at 2000 rupees, okay. So this is anchoring bias, okay. So what are its implications? Okay, this can skew judgments, lead to miscalculation. Initial information unduly influences subsequent judgments, okay. So this was anchoring bias. Next, we have overconfidence bias. Okay, so what is it? So it is a tendency to overestimate one's knowledge, abilities, and the accuracy of information. Okay, so you are overestimating your knowledge, abilities, and accuracy of their information. So what are its implications? The bias can lead to taking excessive risk, overlooking uncertainties, and potentially resulting in poor decisions. Okay, so one example of this is after COVID. Okay, as said by like SEBI chairperson Madhavi Buripuj, that a lot of like retail investors, okay, a lot of retail investors, okay, have lost a lot of money in FNO trading, okay, after COVID, okay. Why? Because like when the market was in a uptrend after the COVID, okay, they made a lot of money, okay. In that, what they were experiencing is overconfidence bias, okay. They were overestimating their knowledge abilities, okay. So they came in the market just for just 1 year before, okay, and they were overestimating their knowledge abilities, okay, that they can make a very significant profit, okay, out of stock market, okay, and they can make a living, okay. But soon the after 2023 2022 mid, okay, the reality struck them and they have a lot of losses, okay. That is also like given by SEBI, like 90% of the traders lose money, 90% of traders lose money, okay. So they were overestimating their knowledge abilities and their accuracy of information. Okay, so what were the implications of doing all that? Okay, they were taking excessive risk and they were also overlooking uncertainties, potentially resulting in poor decisions. Okay, so example is an investor might feel overly confident in knowledge of stock market. Okay, and invest heavily in a particular stock without proper research, believing in that the intuition is correct, leading to significant financial losses and market turns unfavorable if market turns unfavorable. Okay, so this also done overconfidence bias. Okay, till now, like we have done confirmation bias. Okay, we have taken the example of veganism. Okay, we have done anchoring bias. Okay, we have took the example of like bargaining. Okay, bargaining of sari. Then we have took the example of, then we have gone through overconfidence bias. Okay, then we have hindsight bias. Okay, hindsight bias, okay, by this you can remember that hindsight bias is that like I knew it all. Okay, I knew it all, I knew it all. या फिर हिंदी में लाइक मुझे पता ही था ये होने ही वाला है. ओके, समथिंग लाइक दिस. ओके, व्हाट इज इट? Hindsight bias is inclination to see events having been predictable after they have already occurred. Okay, so like Mumbai Indians, like Mumbai Indians won the IPL match. Okay, won the IPL trophy. Okay, won the IPL trophy. Okay, and it was final with CSK. Okay, CSK versus Mumbai Indians. Okay, so even if the the match was very close. Okay, but like after Mumbai Indians wins, okay, you will say that I knew that Mumbai Indians to जीतने ही वाला था, something like this. Okay, so it was hindsight bias. Okay, with hindsight bias, okay, you can remember these words. I knew it all. Okay, future event हुआ नहीं है. Like when the event is occurring, you were kind of in doubt. Okay, when the future event has already occurred, okay, then you are very confident that you have already predicted it. Okay, you have already predicted the outcome. Okay, so what are its implications? This bias can lead to an inaccurate assessment of past decisions and false sense of uncertainty about future events. Okay, so it is inaccurate assessment of past decisions and false sense of certainty among the future events. Okay, so its example is after a cricket match, Indian fans might say that they knew all along that a certain team would win, even if that match was unpredictable and uncertain till the end. This often happens in during IPL matches where fans claim to have predicted the outcome after seeing the result. Okay, so this was hindsight bias. Hindsight bias से क्या याद रखना? I knew it all. Okay. Then we have availability heuristic. Okay, so what is it? Okay. So with availability heuristic, okay, you should remember overestimation. Overestimation, okay, and amplifying information. Amplifying a given information. Okay. Suppose in a area you have seen in TV, okay, that this area, okay, has a lot of robbery cases, okay, a lot of robbery cases, okay, that used to occur in past, okay. So whenever you pass through this road, okay, you will always be fearful, okay, that you might get robbed, okay. So it is availability heuristic, okay. So even that won't happen regularly, okay. Even the robbery only occurs like in 2 months, okay, in 60 days, okay. But if you have read that news in the TV, okay, or like newspaper, okay, so you are amplifying the information, overestimating that when you will cross this road, okay, you will get robbed. Okay, so availability bias is the tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events based on the availability in memory. Okay, so whatever is available in your memory, you are amplifying that. Okay, just like you have seen that after 2008 crash, okay, after 2008 crash of Lehman Brothers, okay, and all global financial crisis. Okay, so whenever the market you might have recently seen is that whenever the Nifty, okay, whenever the Nifty falls like 2-3%, okay, people start remembering 2008 global financial crisis. Okay, why? Because they have like it's in their recent memory. Okay, it's in the recent memory of people that what happens if the market falls, okay, how the capital gets eroded, okay, how the a lot of people will get unemployed and all, okay, so all these things, okay, so it is availability in memory, okay, it is the recent memory, like whenever the Nifty falls 2-3%, okay, they get remember the 2008 global financial crisis, okay. So by like by just seeing these like falls, okay, very minor falls, okay, you are overestimating the likelihood of events, okay. So what are its implication? Okay, decisions can be swayed by recent or memorable events. Okay, rather than comprehensive analysis. Okay, you are not doing any comprehensive analysis. Okay, of possible outcomes. Okay, you are just swayed by the recent and memorable events. Okay, so these words like recent and memorable events. Okay, these are all like keywords. Okay, of finding out which biases are these. An example is, after hearing about several incidents of chain snatching in a particular city area, a person might avoid that area entirely, believing it to be extremely unsafe, even though the overall crime rate in area might be low. Okay. Then we have status quo. Okay. What is status quo? Okay. You are like staying in your decision. Okay. Staying in your earlier decisions. Okay. Staying in your earlier decision. Okay. You are not changing your thought process. Okay. Even if something new comes. Okay. So it's like it's time of like all the AI generative and all. Okay. And you still believe that no, these all things are like not good. Okay, not good for your I think creativity. Okay. These are not good for creativity of a person. Okay. Or anything. Okay. This will reduce the analytic mindset. Okay. Analytical thought process of a person and all. Okay. So this will reduce all. Okay. Because the people won't be able to think of their themselves. Okay, they will only take the help of AI and all. Okay, so in this you are having the status quo bias. Okay, so status quo bias says that the preference of the current state of affairs and resistance to change. Okay, you are resisting to change. Okay, to the upcoming technologies and all. Okay, or anything. So implication, what its implication? The bias can hinder innovation and adaptation. Okay, you are hindering your innovation and adaptation, as people may avoid change even when it could lead to better outcomes. Okay, so if you learn all these prompts and all, okay, if you learn the all the computer functions, okay, recent whatever we are getting, okay, so you will get better in career. Okay, and the people who are like having status quo, okay, they will avoid the change. Okay, and they won't be having that better outcomes. Okay, then example is, many Indian farmers might resist adopting new agriculture technologies or methods, preferring to stick to traditional farming practices, even when modern techniques could increase productivity and efficiency. So this was status quo. And the last of cognitive bias is framing effect. Okay, so this is also very important. So suppose an old person goes to doctor. Okay, he has cancer. Okay, but he is diagnosed at like stage one and all. Okay, stage one. Okay, and if he goes to a doctor, okay, and if this doctor give the procedures of surgery, okay, procedures of surgery, okay, and he tells the patient that there is 90% survival rate and only 10% of the chance of death. Okay, so what would you think if either one of these cases have been told to him? Okay, so if he has been told that there is 90% survival rate, okay, he would agree to this surgery, okay, this operation. Okay, but if he has been said that there is only 10% chance of death, okay, so because the word this mortality comes, okay, so because of that he might not prefer, okay, might not prefer surgery, might not prefer surgery. Okay, so framing effect says that like you will arrive at a decision, okay, by the like by the sentence, okay, by the words you have been put in. Okay, so it is the tendency of people choices influenced by how information is presented. Okay, your decision will be influenced by the information that is presented. Okay, that is 90% survival rate, 10% chance of death. Okay, and all. So its implications are different presentations of same information can lead to different decisions, sometimes leading to irrational choices. Okay, we have already seen this example. Okay, so our cognitive bias is complete. Okay, so we have done the confirmation bias of veganism, anchoring bias of buying a sari from the market, overconfidence bias from the stock market, hindsight bias of IPL match, availability heuristic that is of robbery and all. Okay, status quo of farmer, blaming effect of doctor and patient. Okay, then we will have loss aversion, groupthink, and sunk cost fallacy. Okay, so these are all in the emotional bias. So loss aversion. Okay, so in the financial term, okay, or you might be reading that in the like finance section of RBI Grade B. Okay, RBI Grade B. That there are two types of investors. Okay, two types of investors. One is risk seeker. Okay, risk seeker, and another one is risk averse. Risk averse. Okay, so what this term averse means? What does this term averse means? Okay, it means is that okay that the investor okay doesn't want doesn't want excess loss. Okay, excess loss or risk. Okay, compared to return. Compared to return. Okay, it means that जो भी रिस्क एवर्स इन्वेस्टर होगा वो प्रेफर क्या करेगा लेस रिस्क. Okay, and in this term like what is loss aversion means. Okay, you are aversing loss. Okay, आप लॉस से दूर भाग रहे हो. Okay, you want less loss. Okay, आप लॉस को देखना ही नहीं चाहते हो इवन इफ आप फोरगो कर रहे हो फ्यूचर का प्रॉफिट. Okay, you are foregoing future profit. Okay, for example, okay, there is a property of you in like say in outskirt of Delhi. Okay, and you have been seeing that recently this property price have been falling. Okay, so even like so like you are not selling this property. Okay, you are not selling this property. You are not selling this property. You are holding that loss. Okay, so you bought it at like just say 1 CR. Okay, now it costs like 50 lakhs only. Okay, you are not booking this loss. Okay, you are just waiting to come back to 1.5 CR, then you will sell. Okay, so this is you are having loss aversion. Okay, so this is an emotional bias. Okay, we will see the definition of it. So it is a tendency to prefer avoiding losses. Okay, so you are preferring to avoid losses over acquiring equivalent gains. Okay, you are not selling the property, okay, and reinvesting in some other property and start gaining. Okay, rather you are avoiding the loss. What are its implication? So the bias can lead to risk averse behavior. Okay, we have already seen what is risk averse. Okay, potentially causing individuals to miss out an opportunity for growth or improvement. Example we have seen. Okay, so the homeowner might hold on to a property that is losing all value, refusing to sell it all at loss. Okay, even though the market suggests it will continue to decline because of the fear of locking in that loss outweighs the potential benefits of investing the money somewhere else. Okay, so if you book this loss, okay, if you book this loss of 50 lakhs, okay, and if you invest in some other property, chances are you might like have a profit. Okay, but you are still expecting it to come to like above the buying price. Okay, so this is loss aversion. Then we have group thing. Okay, so this you can all relate that like in a class setting or in an office, a lot of people are discussing on an issue. Okay, and like there are seven people, okay, in a meeting, and six people agreed to a point. Okay, but you, like, you are the single one who is not agreeing, but you have a like really good idea. Okay, really good idea. Okay, that is better than of what six people decided. Okay, so even though you have a good idea, you will not share it to the group. Okay, why? Because you will prioritize the harmony and consensus. Okay, you will prioritize the harmony of the group. Okay, like you will say that yes, everyone, like all the other six people are agreeing to that decision of the previous decision. Okay, then I should not break their harmony. Okay, so by this, you will not interfere, or you will not discuss your really good ideas and all. Okay, so you can be this person. Okay, even though he has a good idea, he's not sharing it with other persons. So you are prioritizing the harmony and consensus over critical evaluation of alternatives. So its implications are can suppress dissenting opinions, leading to suboptimal decisions. Okay, you are having suboptimal decisions and even disastrous outcomes. Okay, so example we have seen in a corporate setting, if the majority of the management team in an Indian company agrees to a particular business strategy, others might refrain from voicing their concerns and alternate ideas to avoid disrupting the consensus, potentially leading to poor business decision. Okay, so this is groupthink. Then we have last sunk cost fallacy. Okay, like you must have seen that movie Dhamal. Okay, in that you have seen that there was a like luxury car of that father and son duo. Okay, father and son. Okay, they have a car of like the father call it Maro Digro and all. Okay, so with that car, even that car is very old. Okay, and it always needed a lot of repairs and all. Okay, but you have sentiment attached to it. Okay, you have sentiment attached to it. Okay, that's that's why you are not selling that car. Okay, even though that car is costing you a lot of money in repairing and all. Okay, but you have sentiments to that car. Okay, and you are not selling it. Okay, this might even applies to like personal relationship. Okay, personal relationship. Okay, and all. Okay, so it means that you have invested a lot of time. Okay, a lot of efforts and all. Okay, and you are not letting it go. Okay, even it is causing you losses. Okay, like this car. Okay, so the definition of it is the tendency to continue investing in a decision based on cumulative prior investment. Okay, so you have like whatever the investment you have done, okay, like time, money, resources, rather than future benefits. Okay, you are not looking, you are just focusing on what investment you have done. Okay, but you are not looking at the what are the future benefits of it. Okay, of owning this car. This can result in continued commitment of falling projects. Okay, or decisions simply because they already invested in resources rather than considering whether it makes sense to continue or not. Okay. So a family in India continues to maintain and repair an old car despite high cost, okay, involved because they have already invested a lot in over the years. Instead of buying a new car that would be more economical in the long run. Okay. So I hope you have understand this sunk cost fallacy. Okay. So the emotional bias is also done. So first we have seen the loss aversion, okay, of property selling. Then we have groupthink, okay, and at last we have sunk cost fallacy. Okay, now we will solve questions. So loss aversion. Okay, loss aversion is the tendency to, okay, you are aversing loss. Okay, you have took example of property. Okay, you are not selling that property. Okay, despite you are incurring losses. So it is favor avoiding losses even if it is means missing out of equivalent gains. Okay, loss aversion is favor avoiding losses even if it means missing out on equivalent gains. Okay, It is not all these like taking excessive risk. Okay, make decision based on solely on potential positive value. Okay, prefer potential gain. Okay, so option B is correct. Okay, option B is correct. Which of the following best describes the hindsight bias? Okay, hindsight bias say IPL match. I knew it all. Okay, I knew it all. Okay, so the belief that future events are more predictable than they actually are. Okay, so it is not that belief. It is the tendency to see past events as having been more predictable than they actually were. Okay, so this must be the right. The tendency to see past events as having been more predictable than they actually were. Okay. How might the confirmation bias affect decision making? Confirmation bias say we have seen that veganism. Okay, you are searching, interpreting your beliefs. You are arriving at the same conclusion and all that your belief is right. Okay, and you are not thinking of others' opinion. So it encourages individuals to seek out opposing viewpoints. Okay, they don't do that. Okay, the person with confirmation bias don't take opinions of other persons. Okay, it enhances decision making by increasing exposure to all relevant information. Okay, also not true. It can hinder decision making by limiting exposure to diverse viewpoints. Okay, this must be correct. Okay, so it can hinder decision making by limiting exposure to diverse viewpoints. Status quo, okay, of farmer. Okay, we have took the example of farmer. Okay, that he is not changing to new technology. So actively seeking out new information, no. Favor existing conditions or potentially better alternatives, yes. Then we have what does anchoring? Okay, anchoring shopkeeper. Okay, we have took example of shopkeeper. Okay, shopkeeper. Okay, bargaining and all. So it allows for unbiased decision by ignoring the initial information. It can lead to decision heavily influenced by the first piece of information being received. Yes, it can lead to decision heavily influenced by the first piece of information received. Overconfidence bias. Okay, we took the example of stock market. So more cautious and conservative decision, no. Excessive risk taking due to inflated belief in one's ability. Okay, this must be that option. For overconfidence bias, excessive risk taking due to inflated belief on one's ability. Okay, so overconfidence is only this. Okay, you have inflated belief on your belief, own belief. Then we have group think. Okay, so you have like one really good idea. Okay, you are not saying it because you might think that it will break the harmony of the group. Okay, break harmony. Okay, or consensus of that group. Enhance creativity, no. Suppression of dissenting opinions in favor of group harmony. Okay, you are favoring group harmony. What is the bias called that leads people to continue investing in a decision based on previous investment? Okay, so you have put in a lot of time, money, resources. Okay, in car. Okay, we have seen the car example, so it is sunk cost fallacy. Then we have availability heuristic can lead to, okay, we have seen the example of robbery. Okay. So it is over objective and well-rounded decision making, no, overestimation and likelihood of events based on recent and memorable events. Okay. We have took example of global financial crisis. Okay, how if Nifty fall to 3%, okay, we like all the people in social media think that global financial crisis is coming. Okay, so it is overestimation of likelihood of events based on recent and memorable instances. Then we how does framing affect, okay, influences decision making. Okay, so it ensures that decisions are always based on facts. No, it can lead to different decisions depending on how information is presented. Okay, we have seen the doctor and patient, okay, example. Okay, 90% and 10% death rate, 90% successful. Okay, so this is like it can be lead to different decisions based on depending on how information is presented. Okay, so we have done with all the questions. Okay, one thing to remember is that, okay, so these biases, okay, these biases sometimes can be overlapping. Okay, overlapping. Okay, so even though you are seeing that sunk cost fallacy, and you see that loss aversion, okay, loss aversion. Okay, a lot of examples can be created where these two can be really confusing to select. Okay, but in like sunk cost fallacy, you can have that like it is based on emotion. Okay, emotion or sentiments. Okay, sentiments now. Okay, and loss aversion is on like you are continuing losses, continuing, okay, because of fear of seeing the loss. Okay, okay, so these are the basic like differences. Okay, so the questions, okay, we have dealt like these questions are all like previous year PYQ standards. Okay, so PYQ are like designed in this way only. Okay, and if you have covered all these like questions, okay, then your all the like whatever questions comes out the like biases in decision making, okay, you will clear that, you will definitely solve that questions. Okay, so cutoff is just 1.25 and 1. Okay, so it is very easy to clear the cutoff. Okay, so